Natalie, could you tell me a little bit more about yourself and Oxford Sexual Abuse and Rape Crisis Centre?
Yeah, hi. So I'm the Service Manager of Oxford Sexual Abuse and Rape Crisis Centre, or OSARC for short. We're a local charity that provides support services for women and girls who've experienced sexual violence, any form of sexual violence at any time in their lives. We run a telephone helpline and an email support service, and we also run weekly support groups for women over the age of 18. We've been running in Oxford for about 30 years, just over 30 years, providing those services.
I've seen you speak before about how in Oxford women are quite lucky to have this service, and this concerned me a little bit, that women in other areas don't get the support. How do we change this?
Well, yeah, you're right. I think we're unusual in Oxford to have a rape crisis centre here in the city. Not every city does have one, and in many cases it's a postcode lottery as to whether a woman is able to access a rape crisis centre, depending only on where she lives. There's a huge lack of resources available to rape crisis centres, and funding pledged by the government, by other local authorities, to commit to making sure these services are fully funded, which means that the appropriate services are not always available. We can put pressure on decision makers, on politicians, on our local authorities to make them aware of the need for these services, to encourage them to invest in them and to resource them, and to prioritise sexual violence in the delivery of their own local services.
How do you feel about the way that the media portrays rape?
It can be a bit of a double-edged sword, the way the media portrays rape. So, for example, we often see rapes reported that take place down a dark alleyway at night by a stranger. The victim is often a young woman who's drunk, and that does two things. It makes us believe that most rapes are committed by strangers, people we don't know, and it also places some kind of onus on the victim for having some control over whether she's raped. So we often believe that if you're drunk, you're more likely to get raped. And unfortunately, both of those things aren't true. Most rapes take place by someone that we know, and we also know that women have no responsibility over the experience of sexual violence that they may have. So it can be dangerous the way the media reports rape. On the other hand, we've experienced recently coverage of high-profile sexual assault cases like Jimmy Savile and others, and for some victims that's encouraged them to come forward to seek the support they need. So we hope that the media report rape and sexual assault in a responsible way that supports victims and survivors as they need it.
What's the hardest thing about your job?
The hardest thing is often seeing the number of people that are experiencing sexual violence and not accessing support that they might need. So we know in Oxford we're lucky that there is a rape crisis centre, but we could be delivering many more services that really help people, and that's down to resources. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to grow over the coming years to meet that need, but it can be frustrating at times knowing that we're not meeting all the needs of women out there.
So on the flip side, what's the best thing about what you do?
I get huge job satisfaction from knowing that we really are helping people. We get lots of positive feedback from the women we support, and that the services that we provide really are life-changing for some of them, and that's an incredible experience to have on a personal, individual level, and it's certainly what motivates me to go to work every day.
And how can feline members support OSARC?
In lots of different ways, in talking about sexual violence, in trying to bust some of those myths around what sexual violence is. So, for example, kicking back when victims are blamed for experiences of sexual violence, in supporting us financially, in organising events or fundraising for us is always hugely appreciated, and just spreading the word about what we do. We want to make sure that as many women and girls out there who need our services know about us. So talking about our work to friends and family is always hugely appreciated.
And how can people find out more about OSARC?
So we've got our website, which is www.oxfordrapecrisis.net, and that's got all the information about accessing our services on it, and we're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Thank you, Natalie. It was lovely to meet you.
Thank you.